Tyler Perry hurting black people.
Tyler Perry's about to buy BT. You don't think that's like, I'm buying it back from them selling it to
all he go do is put them Tyler Perry movies on there that paints the black man in a light.
I don't watch Tyler Perry movies, and
now can you tell me why? I want to know why you don't watch Tyler Perry. I want to hear your opinion on Tyler Perry.
So this is Mega of Mike's Unleashed, and I'm just saying this is why I don't watch Tyler Perry movies. I think Tyler Perry movies are all very stereotypical when it comes to black people. He enhances the sort of the negative aspect of blacks. I do see him with some shows. I hear about it. I wasn't a fan of the Medea character. I didn't see what all the hoopla and everything, all that the character was about, which was too funny. It didn't click to me. But when I've seen some of her, not just her, but when I see Tyler Perry shows, they're just very stereotypical, and I'm just like, I'm out of that.
Online, I saw a lot of discourse about Tyler Perry continuously writing movies that shows trauma of black women. I'm not here to say yay or nay as far as that's concerned. But what I'll say is that I saw both sides. I saw people tired of watching this, but then I also saw people say, no, keep putting it in their face so that people can really see what black women deal with.
It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite. Don't you bother him.
Yeah.
Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
For years, the whispers stayed quiet, shared mostly in black barbershops and at family dinners. The feeling was that something was off about Tyler Perry, that his movies, while successful, felt harmful, that his workplace was toxic and his methods were questionable. But for a long time, these were just complaints. Twitter threads and opinion pieces couldn't touch a billion-dollar empire. Tyler Perry, Hollywood's most powerful black mogul, seemed completely untouchable.
Then something changed. The quiet whispers turned into a loud and clear statement. Two of Hollywood's most respected legends, Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson, drew a line in the sand. They didn't do it with angry tweets or interviews. They did it with something far more powerful: their silence and their absence. When actors of their level refuse to work with you, it's not about money or a busy schedule. It's a message. It's a sign that something is seriously wrong behind the curtain.
Before we get into what Denzel and Samuel L. Jackson discovered, you need to understand that this isn't just celebrity drama. This is a battle for the soul of black cinema. It's a story about artistic integrity versus massive financial success, and what happens when those two things go to war. Because what most people don't realize is that Tyler Perry didn't just become successful by accident. He built his empire on a very specific formula, and that formula has been causing controversy from day one. Let's start with someone who has never been afraid to speak his mind, the legendary director Spike Lee. If you know anything about Spike, you know he does not hold back when it comes to how black people are shown in movies.
A lot of stuff that's on today is coonery and buffoonery. And I know it's making a lot of money, breaking records, but we could do better. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm a huge basketball fan, and when I watch the games on TNT, I see these two ads for these two shows, and I'm scratching my head. We got a black president. Are we going back to Mantan Moreland and sleep and eat?
And what he had to say about Tyler Perry's work wasn't just criticism, it was a bombshell. He described Perry's popular shows as coonery and buffoonery, asking if the black community was going backwards. Now, that word coonery is not something you throw around lightly. When a director like Spike Lee, the man who made Do the Right Thing and Malcolm X, calls your work coonery,
He is saying that your work reinforces the worst and most harmful stereotypes about Black people. It's the artistic equivalent of being kicked out of the family. But here's what's so fascinating. Spike said this all the way back in 2011. And what happened? Nothing. Tyler Perry's career kept getting bigger. His movies made more money, his studios expanded, and Hollywood kept writing him bigger checks. It makes you wonder, why didn't such a powerful criticism stick? Why didn't it slow him down? That's where our next voice comes in. And this one is important, because it's not a celebrity or a director. It's a regular person, a Black woman, explaining her frustration. And sometimes those are the voices that cut the deepest and tell the real story.
Tyler Perry hates Black women, and I'm not saying allegedly because the proof is in the pudding. It is becoming more evident that Tyler only sees Black women as hardworking, struggling rape victims that of course one day are going to be rescued by a blue-collared Black man. After watching the trailer of his latest film, Straw, starring Taraji P. Henson, I'm a little offended. And honestly, I'm still recovering from mea culpa. He has managed to make billions of dollars off the backs of Black female pain, and I'm sick of it. The media is a huge outlet for the insight of others. I partially blame the media for people's derogatory perspectives about Black women worldwide. I'm not talking about the Beyoncés and Oprahs and Kerry Washingtons of the world. I'm talking about normal, everyday Black women. It is dangerous to continue to depict us in such a lowbrow manner. Looking at you too, Issa Rae, one of them days, really? Where's our Legally Blonde? Where's our Pretty Woman? Well, maybe not Pretty Woman, but you know what I mean. Even in movies where we should be happy and preppy, like Bring It On, of course we have to be the mean Black bully cheerleaders. Do you know what type of message that's sending to everyone else? As a Black woman, I am tired of being showcased as a bottom-of-the-barrel human being.
She argues that Tyler Perry's movies consistently show Black women in the same painful way, as struggling, traumatized victims who are always waiting to be saved by a man. She points out that he has made billions of dollars by selling stories of Black female pain, and she is sick of it.
Did you catch the pain in her voice? This isn't just a movie review, this is personal. When she says these movies are dangerous, she's talking about the real-world impact of seeing her community portrayed in ways that make her feel ashamed and devalued. She asks, where is the Black version of Legally Blonde? A fun, smart, and successful character. Instead, she sees a media landscape dominated by Perry that shows Black women as being at the bottom of the barrel. That's the real impact we're talking about here.
Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. Remember when comedian Cat Williams went on that explosive interview and basically broke the internet? Well, he had some things to say about Tyler Perry too, and it goes much deeper than just the fact that he wears a dress.
First of all, let's be very, very clear. It is possible that there isn't anything funnier than a guy in a dress. And if that's the case, then it might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a Black guy in a dress. Okay, well, I watched all of my friends throughout my entire life be able to dunk a basketball, but not me. So everybody can't do everything. So, you know, some of us make choices. I think it's not the biggest choice for others. I'm saying at the end of the day, Kevin doesn't have to worry about what people are going to say about him wearing a dress because of the long line of dress-wearing people before him. So now we have Big Mama's house 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. I've never seen Madea in a pantsuit. I think she wears dresses. So now I'm saying, why are we picking on poor little Kevin Hart? Because it was his turn next. Some of us are against the Illuminati, and we are against the Illuminati at our own detriment. When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, nobody likes them.
Kat connects the long line of Black male comedians being put in dresses, from Big Mama's house to Madea, to a larger system of control in Hollywood. He even brings up the Illuminati. Hold up. Before you start rolling your eyes, hear me out. Whether you believe in a secret society or not, what Kat is really talking about is systematic control. He's saying that there are powerful forces in Hollywood that decide who gets to be a star and who doesn't. And to become a star, certain compromises might be required. Speaking of compromises, let's talk about something that Dave Chappelle has been trying to warn us about for years: the whole man and a dress thing. I know some people think it's just a joke, but when you line up the evidence, a very disturbing pattern starts to emerge. Dave famously told the story of how, while filming a movie, the writers and director suddenly tried to force him into a scene where he had to wear a dress.
I mean, I'm a conspiracy theorist to a degree. Like when I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in the trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here. They come in. The writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, we got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on. And what? The prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes in. He said, I'm not wearing no dress, man. I'm funnier than a dress. Just give me something funny to say. I don't need to wear no dress to be funny. What am I, Milton Berle? You know, we're going like this. And then finally he's like, and he leaves. And then like the director comes, Dave, it really would be great if you wear the dress. What is wrong? What is this, Brokeback Mountain in here? So then, wear the dress. I don't want to wear the dress. I want to wear this dress. You know what I mean? This is, oh gosh, it's so difficult. They leave. Now the producers comes, come on, David, would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress. I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine. Think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene. Hot damn, how did you write the scene so fast?
The pressure was intense. They told him he was wasting money, that all the greats had done it, that it was a hilarious bit. But Dave's gut told him something was wrong. It felt like a humiliation ritual, a test of his integrity.
Now, think about this. Dave Chappelle walked away from a $50 million TV deal, in part because he refused to compromise his principles on things like this. $50 million. That's life-changing money that he gave up. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry has built his entire brand, a billion-dollar empire, around the very character Dave was uncomfortable with, a black man in a dress. Dave and Kat are saying the same thing in different ways. They're both talking about a system in Hollywood that rewards certain behaviors and punishes others. They're saying that massive success isn't always about talent. Sometimes it's about what you are willing to do for it.
And that brings us back to our original question. Why do Denzel Washington and Samuel L. Jackson refuse to work with Tyler Perry? Because when you understand the system of control that Dave and Kat are describing, when you see the pattern of stereotypes that Spike Lee called out, and when you hear the real pain in that woman's voice, you start to realize this isn't just about movie preferences. This is about the soul of black cinema.
Now, here's where things get really deep. We've been talking about industry, politics, and art, but what if there's a spiritual reason for all of this? Denzel Washington isn't just any actor. He has been Hollywood royalty for decades, but he has also been very open about his strong Christian faith. He's the son of a preacher who has never been afraid to talk about the battle between good and evil. And when a man like Denzel takes a stand, you can be sure there is a moral principle behind it. Listen to what Denzel says here about spiritual warfare.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite. Don't bother him. Yeah. Conversely, when the devil comes at you,
He says there's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. He means that if you're comfortable in a corrupt system, if no one is coming after you, that might be a red flag. But, he continues, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. Think about that for a second. Dave Chappelle tried to do something right, walked away from $50 million, and the system called him crazy. Cat Williams spoke his truth, and the
system tried to blacklist him. Spike Lee criticized the stereotypes, and the system marginalized him. Meanwhile, Tyler Perry's empire keeps growing and getting rewarded. According to Denzel's logic, who do you think is really on the right side of that spiritual battle?
But here's where it gets personal. It's one thing to talk about principles, but it's another when someone personally disrespects you. And that's apparently what happened to Denzel. He has said that he was once offered a role from a powerful director that was so disrespectful he couldn't even consider it. In Hollywood, A-list actors don't just turn down roles from billion-dollar producers unless there's something seriously wrong. So why would Denzel find Tyler Perry's approach so offensive that he wouldn't even work with him? It suggests that what Denzel saw went beyond just a bad script. It was a moral objection.
This leads to a fascinating theory. What if Tyler Perry isn't the real mastermind? What if the people who actually own the entertainment industry, the people above him, don't want to see movies about black women winning and thriving? What if they are using him to push a certain negative story about black people, and his reward is immense wealth and power? After all, going from homeless to a billionaire almost overnight is not a normal path to success. That kind of rapid rise often suggests that the system is backing you. Denzel has been in this game for 40 years. He knows the difference between real talent and a system-backed project. When a man like Denzel takes a moral stand, it's not about creative differences. It's about spiritual discernment.
Now, here's where things get real, because it's one thing to criticize the movies, but it's another thing entirely when you hear what it's actually like to work for Tyler Perry. Let me introduce you to Brandon Jay, an actor who worked on one of Perry's shows. He called it, quote, the most stressful and hardest thing he's ever done. He explains that on a normal TV show, they take a whole week to film one episode. At Tyler Perry's studios, they film an entire episode in a single day.
He describes a day where he came in fully prepared, knowing all his lines. Then Tyler Perry walked in, hated the entire script, and started rewriting the whole episode on the spot, feeding the actors new lines right before they had to film. Then came the real shock. In the middle of this chaos, Perry decided he wanted to change Brandon's character completely, making him gay with a crush on his bully. This was not the role he auditioned for. He describes the intense pressure, feeling like he was about to be fired at any moment, and eventually having a real breakdown on set, screaming and crying, not because he was acting, but because he was so overwhelmed.
How many other actors went through similar experiences but are still too scared to speak up because they fear being blacklisted? This brings us to the darkest part of the story. For years, there have been whispers and allegations of misconduct, but they were often silenced. The actor Christian Keyes tried to speak up years ago about inappropriate behavior he experienced, but nobody rallied behind him. The system isolated him and discredited him.
This is how the system works. It protects its own and silences victims until it's too late. But the truth has a way of coming out, and that brings us to the lawsuits. Actor Derek Dixon has filed a $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry, with some of the most detailed and disturbing allegations you can imagine. The lawsuit describes a clear case of quid pro quo, which basically means if you do something for me, I'll do something for you.
Dixon claims that after Perry spotted him working at a party, he offered him a career. He was given a new car and a role on a show. But then, the texts and calls became constant and inappropriate. Dixon alleges that Perry invited him to his house, where an unwanted advance occurred. After Dixon refused, he says Perry's behavior continued, with texts like, "See, if my friends do stuff for me, I do stuff for them." The most telling part, Dixon's character on the show was a person who would do anything for money. And when Dixon continued to refuse Perry's advances in real life, his character was written off the show completely. Tyler Perry's lawyers are calling these lawsuits scams from people just trying to get money. But when multiple people over many years tell similar stories of manipulation, pressure, and abuse of power, it becomes much harder to dismiss. Denzel Washington has been in Hollywood for over 40 years. He knows the difference between a director who is difficult and a person who is dangerous. When a man known for his deep faith and integrity draws a line and refuses to work with someone, maybe we should all pay attention. The shocking stories and lawsuits we are seeing now are the very things people like Denzel were likely trying to warn us about all along. This isn't just about Tyler Perry anymore. It's about a system that protects its most profitable assets, no matter the cost. The only question left is, will the truth finally win?